Right now in Manhattan, there's the ADL Anti-Semitism Summit, 2019. People are coming from all over to me to talk. I've been to those events, and I've seen also Dr. Laitman speak in some of these events, the IEC events. The conversation is never about Jewish unity. You go to the World Zionist organization, it's not about this unity. There's voices here and there, but I don't see Jews making even the effort to do this as an exercise. For 1 year, we'll really be brothers. It sounds so simple and yet so outlandish. So is it really? I'm asking you, Shaul, do you think even as a social experiment we can do it? I'm really curious.
I guess I think maybe what stands between Dr. Laitman and I on this question in a more theoretical way, rather than diving into the weeds of these kinds of issues, because I think on a lot of the issues vis-a-vis the weeds, I think we agree with a lot. I think whether this is a question of the laws of nature or whether it's the question of human nature. When we talk about anti-Semitism,
but isn't human nature part of nature? I mean,
no, because I think Dr. Laitman is saying that there's something.
No, human nature and the inclusive laws of nature are all intertwined. It's interconnected, and that's why anti-Semitism is part of the laws of nature. The nature of the human ego is part of the laws of nature. What we can do is invert the way in which the law works towards us, by working towards love and connection between us. That's what the Torah is talking about. That's what is up to us to do, and that's what the nations of the world are pushing us to do.
I think I wonder. Back to Leo's question about unity. I'm very skeptical on the question of unity. I don't think that. There wasn't unity even in Abraham's sons. I think that the very notion of unity is a somewhat of an Edenic, utopian vision, which I don't necessarily think ever did exist, nor ever perhaps will exist, at least unless something changes very drastically. So it's not really about unity. I think that
Shaul, that is exactly right. That's what I'm saying. That something so drastic will have to happen that we will be forced by very big blows to start that process. I'm saying let's not wait for that to happen. Let's make a baby step forward, because there's no choice.
Why wasn't the Shoah? The Shoah did not produce unity among the Jews or among the world. There was sympathy. The world was sympathetic to the Jewish genocide, but there was no unity.
True.
And the Jews in Palestine were fighting with each other when the Jews were being killed and murdered in Auschwitz, right? So at the same moment,
True.
Right? So I think that the idea of unity, obviously, none of us wants something like that to happen again in order to kickstart this process. So I'm not sure what you're suggesting in terms of how this process could begin to happen. Like what would need to happen just on the ground, right, for this process to begin to happen? And what would unity actually even mean?
What we need to start with is publicity, advertising this, disseminating this, explaining this, raising awareness wherever possible, that we don't have a choice, and if we don't come together, we also radiate that onto the world. We cause lack of connection in the world, and when the world becomes further disconnected, it leads to collapses, just like what's happening gradually in Europe, and you'll see that will happen in America as well. Crises will escalate until we will reach a third world war. And this is what the Zohar talks about, and it will happen. But who will be guilty? The Jews, and they will be blamed, and rightly so. That's why this is deterministic. We don't have a reason, a choice. We have to start explaining that. Once we just make a subtle shift in the attitude towards that, in towards love that covers all our differences, our crimes, towards greater connection between us. That's it. You'll see how the atmosphere is changing. The nations of the world will begin to support us. They will, as the prophecy of Isaiah is saying, that the children of the nations of the world will carry the people of Israel and take them to the mountain of the Lord, etc. This is all something that can happen if we don't wait for it to be too late. Because when it's too late, the destruction begins to take place.